You're in the leading company in this space right now. What advice do you have for marketing ops, GTM practitioners to future proof their careers? All the stuff is moving so fast. Where should they be going to learn? Where do you go to learn? Curious your thoughts there.
Yeah, so I think I'll start by responding to that with more of a framework or a philosophy, if you will, to it. And my very first boss ever, the guy who was maybe dumb enough to give me that ops job, I think I did an okay job. He said so at least. So maybe it was a smart decision. I'm grateful for it. But he had a phrase that we lived by, and it was "Do it, try it, fix it," which it feels like maybe it should be "Try it, do it, fix it," but no, it is "Do it, try it, fix it"
Hmm.
because we would just do the thing, right? And then we would keep trying or iterating and improving over time, right? So I would say this technology is so new, so paradigm shifting, changing so rapidly, and every vendor in the market is constantly trying to reinvent their version of the wheel with it. So you have to have this iterative, foundational, and build and build and build and build and build approach as part of just your core being of how you approach every business problem. And that may sound rather routine to others, but like it's really easy to like get presented with a business problem and try to boil the ocean, right? It's like, no, take the baby steps. Take the baby steps, validate that you're stepping in the right direction. And when you know that you are, then start to pick up the pace, right? So I'd say that's the beginning. And then I would say in terms of, just some things that have been really beneficial to me in terms of shaping my career, honing my skills as both a technologist and a leader of other technologists is first and foremost like community is a big thing. Like you just need to find your community. And I'm not saying that it means
Hmm.
you have to go out and join, the flashiest, loudest Martech or RevOps community on LinkedIn, right? I mean, find those humans that are doing the same job as you that you can have a bond with, that you can
Hmm.
share notes with, that you can bounce ideas off of. It's really no accident, even though it is somewhat organic in nature, that a lot of my close friends are fellow operators, right? And it's because we speak the same language and we're constantly getting value from each other, right? But at the same time, we're also individually and collectively learning some of the repeatable best practices that we can all speak to, right? So that's the next piece is that you gotta just there are good ways to do certain things that most people understand, languages that people speak, right? So learn those things so that you can repeat them over time. And then the last piece I would just say is like don't be afraid to fail. Like it's scary, it's really scary, but if you do that iterative approach, going full circle here, right? The failures in the beginning are smaller, the risk is
Yep,
lower, but the education is just as valuable.
totally. Yeah, I there's like another way to say this is kind of like it's like kind of like declarative knowledge versus experiential knowledge, which is
Mm,
declarative is kind of like when you read about a thing, when you read about how to do something, but then it only helps to a point. It's kind of like reading about how to ride a bicycle. You can read tons and tons of books about how to ride a bicycle, but like you really haven't ridden one till you till you tried it. And I think that with a lot of people that are kind of I don't know, maybe more academic or maybe more like fear of failure, they'll study something so much, but they'll never actually go and try it. And that's why I love your
mm.
do it, try it, fix it framework. And I think the other thing too that's really great about that is a lot of times the skills that you learn along the way are transferable to other things. So when you're fixing your initial model or version or platform that you're launching, those skills that you're getting, that's like experiential knowledge that really compounds. So I think that your advice is right on, and people listening to this podcast should really like, you know, take that to heart and try. But like you said, it takes courage.
Yeah,
It's
it
fear of
definitely
failure. Fear of failure is a real thing.
Hmm.
it is a real thing, and but I wanna, like, encourage the audience also with this, caveat, which is that when you do fail, the memory of that failure and the lesson learned from it is visceral.
Hmm.
It
Mm,
will go with you everywhere you are. I a couple weeks ago in a like team weekly wrap up, the prompt I gave everyone was we're gonna do go to market system ghost stories. We're gonna go around the horn and no judgment. We're all gonna talk about a time that we built and deployed something that blew up on us. Um, and guess what? Everyone on the team had a story
Yeah.
immediately, right? And I remember the story I told then. I remember other stories that I have. And guess what? I don't make those mistakes anymore, right?
Mm.
Because they were so visceral and so painful in the moment. But guess what? I'm still here. I'm still growing. I've advanced in my career. So like you have to embrace the failure to a certain extent, or at least the potential for it.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
advice. Anyone who's worked on a marketing automation platform has a story around sending an email out to the wrong list or an unfiltered list. It's
Yeah.
a rite of passage.
Forgot about the suppression. Yeah.
Classic one there.